going on, everyone? It's Liam Catterson here with episode number 7 of Series 3 for Broadchurch. 2 episodes left. Excited, but also sad as well, considering we're approaching the end to this very, very interesting show. It's been a show that's captivated me, and we've only got 2 episodes left. But with that, it's also exciting because we are moments away from knowing who the attacker is. Of course, that will probably be revealed in episode 8, like the last 2 seasons have shown, so, there's that. But also, I think this episode has the potential to cross off some names from the list of suspicion on who attacked Trish, of course, because, I feel it all goes back to, I think that quote from Alex, I think the more we keep doing this, the more we try, no, it was Ellie, wasn't it? Ellie said, the more people we interview, the more people we rule in, and that was the case in that last episode with Ed and his obsession with Trish, so, that could be a really, really strong motivation to why you attacked Trish, so, yeah, you want to start closing those doors and, cross off the list of suspects, of course. In my mind, there are some people who have been crossed off anyways, but that's, of course, that's, there's a bit of a difference between being a detective and being a viewer, so, I wouldn't be so good as a detective, would I? All jokes aside, yes, there's a few people who I've crossed off, but you never know, they could still, prop up with something, pretty damning that could, put a punch in their defense, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But as I said, I think this episode is a great opportunity to close a few doors, and we'll see if that does come to fruition. Also wanting to know what happened, with the residents, like the, original residents as well, because of, I was talking about the, people we were introduced in the first episode, of course. But of course, we've got to also keep focus on the cast we've grown to love over the past 3 seasons, like the Ladders, because I'm wanting to know what the hell is going to happen after that ending of the last episode. Pretty brutal stuff, and it'll be very, very interesting to see how the Latimers might cope with this. Who knows? I'm wondering if Mark is dead. I mean, it looked it from the shot, but, and the way they wrote it, it seems like a 100% deal, but like I said, it's going to be very, very interesting to find out the fallout of that incident. But yeah, with that said, let's just roll on to the penultimate episode, not the final episode, we're not there yet. But yes, the penultimate episode, episode number 7, let's go. Grim opening. Kind of I just see the parallels there, like from episode 1 where she woke up like that.
They called a lifeboat out.
I thought that was it.
I found you in the water unconscious with hypothermia. Another 10 minutes, I reckon you'd have drowned.
Don't think he would have lost sleep over... Well, he wouldn't be losing sleep anyways. Eternal sleep.
What happened? Where have you been?
On the bank.
What time was this?
Funny thing, when I was on my arse in the mud, didn't think to check my watch.
Can I make a suggestion, Ed? Lay off the smart arse replies. Just keep it simple and honest, yeah?
You just imagine, whoop, whoop, tumble. Oh, what time is it? Mark this down in history.
Ian Winterman says he had to talk to you about sexually harassing his wife.
Absolutely not true.
Yeah, remember, stir.
What is it then?
What?
Gonna have to release him.
Going to be Alec.
Gonna have to release him. But that's the thing. He's wanting to get closer to the finishing line.
I'm going to ask the custody sergeant to release you on police bail. I'm going to ask for conditions to be put into place during your bail. If any one of you even so much as belch when you shouldn't, I will be there.
Threatening us.
Wow.
No, son, I'm instructing you. Do you know what I do in my job, do you? I deal with murderers and brutal
Rapists.
thugs and sex
Like
offenders,
pieces of
and
shit,
I win.
like you.
I get the better of them, so don't for a second imagine I will break a sweat getting you in line.
I'm done.
Let alone do anything to make her unhappy. I will find you and I will cut your tiny little cocks off.
You can't say that to us, you're the police.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Oh my
And I will
god.
do whatever is necessary to protect my daughter.
Father Alec is just the best. Alec,
Now, piss
awesome.
off!
I'm here for Alec.
Did you mean to kill yourself?
You do feel a bit for Beth, yeah. Especially when she's been trying to talk some sense into Mark.
I'm so tired, Beth. I can't see anything ahead. You know, it'd just be easier if all this went away.
But that's why Beth's here.
I don't think you could talk to us, to me.
Exactly, Chloe.
We talked all the time, and it never helped. I wanted to do something.
You're back? June 2014.
2 years. 2.
Where are you going with this? You told me this was about Trish.
Yes, but
We're
there's...
just trying to get to the truth.
But wait, there's more.
Didn't like that, did he, man? I look proper riled.
Shake the cage, shake the cage. Oh, he let up some steam.
You took my advice.
No, I realise, Mama.
What?
I'm too nice to people.
No, that.
Never works being nice. Don't it?
He's too nice to be... What?
I think the official term is spyware on it.
Oh, what?
You've been snooping on your wife via her laptop.
It gave me access to her webcam, so I could check in on her and see what she was up to.
Why would you want to do that?
Oh.
She often leaves it open.
Because he's not there. He
The
wants to...
software accesses the inbuilt camera.
He wants to be
I
there
didn't
for his
realise
daughter,
how
but he
easy
can't
it
be
was.
there physically.
Right.
So you've come here and confessed to something which you didn't do, but you have knowledge of, which means someone else was involved.
That guy,
Yeah, but I can't
that
tell you
Leo.
who it is.
Why not?
I promised I'd keep their name out of it.
Have you
Oh
forgotten what's happening?
boy.
Your wife was raped. We're trying to find the person responsible. What's the matter with you? Do you have no shame?
It's quite vulgar to, you know, cover this up. Come on. Oh shit, yes, just remember. Which can also be pretty damning if you tell the police. Especially with how shook he was.
It's the time, you see, on the receipt.
Oh, it's the same day, isn't it?
5 o'clock.
Night of the party.
On the day of my 50th birthday party.
My husband
Specific
stopped
timing. Ooh.
My ongoing, daily pain is as strong and as alive as his, but I don't let it win. He is selfish.
I mean, I think we all deal with it in different ways, but...
Part of me wishes he'd succeeded.
I don't know, it's just I do feel so much for the Latimers, especially
And we're
with
left to
Lizzie
clear it up.
there. Like, she's only, what,
His
3?
family, like always.
I get it. I
Pain.
understand what Mark's going through.
Yeah, pain. We all deal with pain in a
We
different
need
way.
to talk about Mark Latimer.
I mean, it
I
is a
just
bit...
heard what
It
happened to
is a
him,
bit...
but not from you. No,
Yeah.
we're not reporting it. But I'm not writing about Mark Latimer.
Go.
So
Go.
I hereby fire you and your declining industry from my life. I quit.
Woo!
And if I see anything about the Latimers in the paper or on the website, I swear I will slash your car tires every week until they put me in a home. As the Americans say, screw you, Petal.
What's with everyone just being so threatening tonight? I just love it. Like, everyone threatening for nobility. I don't know what she's probably typing homework or script or whatever. I don't know.
Those are the dates that you were asking me about. So I was away for both of them.
I can't.
He was here on his own.
Planning.
There was a waitress at the party.
Let me
Young,
guess.
fit. Saw her when they arrived.
And guess what he did?
Haven't got condoms.
What a disgusting
So
piece
you've
of
left
shit.
the preparations of your wife's 50th birthday party to go and buy condoms so you could have sex with one of the waitresses.
She was flirting with me as soon as she saw me.
Oh
Did you
my
have sex with
fucking
her
god!
that night?
Oh, she was flirting with me, so I've got this
The
obligation.
same day that you had
Fuck
sex
off.
with Trish Winterman.
Up against the tree.
Same area. Ooh. Was this the same area that Trish got?
Don't you look at me like that. Because you'd done the same if it was offered to you.
No, I wouldn't.
He's not a scumbag.
I don't subscribe to your version of the world, but I worry about sending my daughter out into it with men like you around.
Protective father. I just love that.
He's not gonna win, Mum. We shouldn't have to be scared.
Oh, be proud of your daughter. She's only doing good. Give her a round of applause there.
Forgive
Nice. I think them two need a reconciliation as well, like with the whole gym shit. Hug it up. See, this is great. This is empowering. Empowering. Can't speak.
What's that about? You ain't got anything to be proud of there.
How do you mean?
Oh.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I like a DILF.
A DILF.
A dad I'd like to.
Oh,
Yeah. I got it. Okay, no.
Was sad. Was pissed off. Didn't get his load away, did he? You know what they're like then.
Ooh.
Jim Atwood was wandering the grounds, sexually frustrated with a pack of condoms in his pocket around the time that Trish was raped.
And he's still the only suspect who's ever come up with a DNA match on Trish.
Exactly. Oh
Even
my
if it
god,
was
it's
when
all
they slept
coming.
together that morning.
Trish is tightening Miller right around Jim Atwood.
Yeah, it is. Like everything's just hitting him in the face.
He saved me. I owe him a lot.
So he just turned into, well, it's still creepy. It's still like
What
a
else
spyware,
aren't you
of
telling
course,
the truth about, Liam?
but he's turned from
I was
this
at the party at
weird,
Axhampton for a bit.
worrying individual to someone who's
My
apparently
girlfriend Danielle,
caring.
she's basically ditched me because I had her lie to you about where we were.
Your girlfriend was there too?
She used to work at the farm shop with Kath. She got invited.
That, there are traces of one of our men's DNA on the sock.
Who?
Ooh. Jim? Oh, we got this guessing game going on. Oh boy, here we go.
What's so
Who
urgent?
done it?
I was moving stuff and I found this. Never seen it before.
Wait, is this the
That's
same
the
one that
bloodstains.
you found that? What, like it was planted? Ooh, who could have done it? Who could have done it? I've got three. It's funny with everything going on, and you know that final glance on who. It kind of reminds me of the season 1 of Broadchurch when we were on the verge of finding out who could have killed Danny, and we're literally on the verge now that you know we found the DNA match. Of course, we're on the verge on who attacked Trish. So I'm wondering, you know, if they've ended with that, we're going to close out a lot. We kind of did close a few doors, unofficially, I guess, especially with Ian, which, you know, whether you want to believe him or not, you know, him saying he, you know, missed Trish and installed spyware to kind of be there, I guess, even though, you know, he was forced out of the Wintermans' lives. He wanted to be there in some capacity, and of course spyware can do that, so, but it can be, I mean, he's always acted shifty, and in this episode he was, you know, in a complex situation. I mean, he did take some time, like, wasn't it Daylight when, you know, Hardy gave that ultimatum to, you know, just tell us about Leo, basically. He didn't say about Leo, but of course we all knew that Leo, helped Ian out. So, yeah, it's unofficially in my mind though, after that discussion with Trish though, I think I mean, I did suspect a few episodes back anyways that I don't think he did it. He did crop up again slightly, but it seems like everything's just cooled down. It was just that little spike, wasn't it? So, I don't think Ian did it. Same with Ed. I mean, when, you know, Hardy was talking about, you know, would you hurt Trish and that, like, he seemed he seemed hurt about the fact that an idea could crop up, like there is any contemplation about, you know, an idea of hurting Trish. He could not go through with that, so he seems genuine there, so I'll probably, I mean, he did seem pretty damning, of course, last episode, but, it seems like that's cooled off a bit. What that bag was doing, though, probably someone planted it there, and it could all go back to Jim there. Like, of course, Jim threw up a lot of red flags about, you know, of course, you know, the condom situation, of course, was, evident in the early part of the season. But of course, you know, his shady activities, the fact that he was frustrated, of course, after that other girl, you know, refused him. Yeah, everything's just not looking good for Jim at the minute. And not just that, but he could just as well plant that bag there, because him and Ed have a bit of history going on anyway. So, as one, screw you to Ed, Jim could have planted that bag there. So, it's not looking good for Jim. Like, Jim is, like, if he's not revealed to be the attacker, then I'm gonna be like, what the hell? Because I think that's the case though. I think they are wanting you to suspect him so heavily, so when they come to the reveal, it will actually surprise you. But there's just a lot of evidence pinned against Jim that it's just so damning, and you just can't think to look the other way. I mean, there's of course other suspects you want to consider. Leo was at the party. Clive, of course, has always acted shifty, and of course that ending with his wife finding out about the keys is pretty ominous. But you know, Jim won the prize, and not just being the biggest dick in this episode, but you know, the guy to bring up so much suspicion, and it's not looking good for Jim. But we'll just have to wait and see if, you know, he actually went ahead and did it. So yeah. But yeah, this episode, it kind of frustrated. I'm not meaning this in an insensitive way or whatever, but I'm kind of frustrated in the sense that Mark survived. I mean, I didn't want him to go through with it, but I think the way they ended episode 6 was a nice little, I think it was a really beautiful ending. And then for him to come alive, I thought that was it. It sold you to this being the end of his chapter, the end of his story. The problem is, though, it would just cause more agony for the Latimers, and you don't want that, and they've been through enough crap anyways. And especially with Beth finding this acceptance, she still holds the pain, as evidenced in this episode, of course, and previous episodes, but she needed to reaffirm it to Mark, considering he was so more emotionally attached to the whole situation than Beth was. Of course, the fact that he tried to kill himself. You know, you don't want to kick it back to square one if, you know, Mark did end it. So you can see why they went through with that decision, but for some reason, the way they did shoot it in the last episode was a really convincing sign that he was actually going to go through with it. And, you know, the next episode we pick up with, you know, him dead. I don't know. It's just the way that I felt that, you know, we were going to step into episode 7. But I mean, in hindsight, I'm also happy enough that he is alive. It still put a bit of strain, of course, with the Latimers, of course, after, you know, Beth had that talk with Paul. But you know, it's I guess easier to cope with than the Unthinkable. So yeah, it is pretty, like, I thought, you know, they were going to enter episode 7 with that, but, I was proven wrong, it seems, and, like I said, I think it would have been more, like, I don't know, I would have been more sold with the ending of episode 6, like, if it wasn't so convincing that he would go one way, and then episode 7 we were led with another, so, but it was really powerful stuff as well, like, especially with how broken the Latimers has been this season, with, you know, how Mark and, you know, Beth went their separate ways, and then, you know, last episode, Beth was thinking about getting a divorce, so, you know, the story with the Latimers has been very interesting, picking up, like, years after Danny's murder. still keeping them in the spotlight and still keeping some relevancy, as well as to the main story with Beth's involvement. But it's just been so interesting to see, you know, what they've been doing and how, you know, fragile they are. So, yeah, it's been a pretty great story. So I think this, you know, in some degrees, I think they should have just ended it at episode 6, like with Mark, of course, like they should have, added some more trauma. But I think with 2 episodes remaining and, you know, the main focus is on the whole attack situation, I don't think they would have had time to deal with the fallout and all that. So I think, in hindsight, this was also a good decision. I don't know. It's just the way that episode 6's ending sold me, kind of convinced me that we were going to open up, episode 7 with, I don't know, him in the morgue or something. I don't know. But, yeah, that was that. Of course, we talked about the whole attacking situation, of course, with, Jim, of course, being heavily linked, and it's just pretty, you know, it's not looking good for him, but we'll just have to find out, because next episode, well, of course, with it being the final episode, we're not going to be left in the unknown and scratching our heads thinking what the hell did happen, but we're going to find out probably at the very beginning of the next episode, considering, you know, they've got the same traces of DNA, like whoever did attack Trish, of course, well, whoever's DNA matches up on the screen out of the mail's got to come up with some pretty convincing story. Otherwise, you know, they're going to go to jail, so it's going to be very interesting to open up on that. But yeah, the main story was absolutely really great. Of course, like I said, clearing up a few doors unofficially, in my opinion, with Ian's missing chasm, I guess. He's been missing that chasm, I guess, as he'd like to put him. But it was just really kind of, you just felt for him, and that's not something you've been feeling for Ian this season, considering he's been acting a bit off throughout the season, especially the last episode where he set Ed up for the vultures, basically. But yeah, you gotta keep that in mind. He can be a bit manipulative and shaky, but I don't know, he seemed a bit genuine when he was talking to Trish about, you know, why he installed the spyware on the laptop, and yeah, I mean, sometimes you might feel like you're missing out and you want to keep an eye on the family, like you're still attached to them, but you can't be with them. So, you know, spyware is a neat little trick. Not really the best method, but it's something, especially in Ian's expertise. I really loved how everyone was going off. Maggie, Alec, everyone was just being really aggressive, especially Alec to those boys who, you know, kind of harassed Daisy. It was really great to see Alec just go off on one. Okay. I don't know who that is, but yes, it was really awesome to see Alec just go off on one, especially Maggie as well, considering her firm is a bit in shambles at the minute. But it also was just really awesome to just see Maggie just go off on one. To be fair, it was just really awesome. Especially with how passionate, because some journalists are like that. Like, some journalists will, well, a lot of journalists, I'm not stereotyping, but there are a lot of journalists who like to stir the shit and like to make the situation worse. But, you know, it's great to see Maggie has that passionate heart inside her, so, yeah. But no, this was a really awesome, episode, a great penultimate episode. And, yeah, it's all to the final ever episode of Broadchurch, and who did it? It's gonna be very interesting to find out. And there's gonna be, well, I mean, there's no explanation needed to why Jim is a piece of shit, but, you know, there's a lot of red flags that do throw him in a lot of hot water. And like I said, whoever did attack Trish, if it's not Jim, yeah, I don't know at this point, like, whoever, because you just want to rush over and say it's Jim because of all of these signs, and you just got to think, if it's not Jim, then it's going to be a bit of a lackluster, considering all of this evidence, like, does put him in heavy, like, especially with his, you know, with his mechanic stuff and how he went out to see one of the victims, of course, and how those 2 days were vacant as well for Kath. Like, Kath wasn't there, so anything could have happened. There was no alibi. So it's pretty damning for Jim. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But no, this was a great penultimate episode, and it leads us to suspect, and I'm really invested to see who could have done it. So we'll just have to find out what happens. But until then, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my Mickey Pete's channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!